All right, welcome back to the show. It is a new day right here on A New Day Kenya, right here on your favorite station, which is Ebru TV. And right about now, it is a Lifestyle Thursdays, and we have a pretty interesting conversation. Yani, have you ever been to a wedding ya mtu, alafu unauliza, how did you guys meet? Mlipatanaje? How did the love develop? And then you're told we were working at the same place. You know, obviously the long hours obviously developed into feelings and whatnot. And yeah, we ended up getting married. So office romance, is it right? Is it wrong? Is it professional? Is it unprofessional? In the case that it happens, how do you maneuver around it? Does it have any implications? And what are the implications in case it does have any? And today I have some amazing guests who are going to be chatting with me about the topic, but I do want you to interact as we interact with them right here on the show. I want you to send in your views via our social media platforms, rather, that is Ebru TV Kenya on Instagram and on Twitter. Ebru TV KE on Facebook. Short SMS line is 40920. Our WhatsApp number is 0777-672-230. I want you to tell me, have you ever been involved in an office romance? How was it for you? And did it develop into something fresh? Because a survey was saying that, you know, office romances don't last. They last to up to maybe 6 months, 1 year at most. Did yours last? Send us those paragraphs. I want to hear them. I will be wrapping them for you right here. But today I have some amazing guests. I see that Alan got the memo. There's some brightness, there's some yellow, there's some psych, there's some energy, there's some morale. Now, Natavilona move. Alan Lawrence is a motivational speaker, public speaker, published author. Welcome, Karibu Sana, to the show.
Thank you so much.
Always glad to have you right here. Always glad to get your views. Super excited to hear what you have to say about this particular conversation. And we have a very beautiful lady, very calm, very composed. Looking quite well. You can even see by her seating posture. She's very calm, very composed. Welcome to the show.
Asante
Welcome
sana.
to the show,
Thank
Judy
you so
Zungu.
much. Yes.
Karibu Sana.
Asante.
You're a life coach.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
So the whole topic of office romance, first of all, before anything,
yes,
what do you think about it?
For me, I'm not in for the idea fully.
Why fully?
Why fully? Because you look at it from these dynamics that you will realize at this particular moment, most of the things will be compromised. Be it your professionalism will be compromised. There will be a lot of gossip and a lot of unproductivity to some extent. Why? Because the time you'll be spending on chatting other matters, romantic matters, instead of you concentrating on work, you'll realize a lot of favoritism, whereby you will be in a clique of some friends and you will not associate with others. Also, insecurities tend to pop up. Because what will be people saying about us? Yeah.
All right. For Judy, what do you think? Is it professional or is it ethical to date a co-worker?
I think if you look at the dynamics of society right now, it almost looks like it's an inevitable monster that we have to deal with, in the sense that a lot of us right now, there's very little socialization that's taking place. I don't know where you live. Sometimes people are not even talking to their neighbors. So you find a scenario where you come to Ebru TV and spend like 8 hours in a day. Chances are high you'll probably hook up with the producer, with an accountant, with a cameraman, within your industry. Yeah. So it's important for us to also be able to just examine and interrogate that possibility. But even as we look at it and say, fine, this monster is here with us, it's important for us to really also talk about the pros and the cons, so that as we go into it, we are also going into it knowing that this is the situation as it is, but this is what the price is going to be. So I think that's a good conversation we are having today. Yeah.
All right. And for Alan, because your team impossible, like I do not want it to happen. It should never happen. It does not exist in my vocabulary. For the case that, I want to put you in a different perspective. For the case that it were to exist, what is the possibility and what would actually maybe lead people to office romance?
Number one aspect is there is aspect of time, because at the office you spend a lot of time with these people. because you look at it since morning, you are with this person at work, you know, not only at the office setup. So you realize you spend time, and when the moment you spend time with some people, you start to develop some connectivity with these people. Another thing also, you know, you date someone considering how they react under pressure. Because at work, the true manifestation of this person will come out. That is where I will always advise everyone, for you even to think of dating another person, you need to see how they react under pressure. So in an office setup, you will see how this person reacts under pressure, you will see how this person manages their thing, so that also their true character, to some extent, will manifest. Yeah.
All right, and for Judy,
Yes.
okay, I know for him, he just doesn't support it or anything in that line.
Yes.
What are some of the reasons in your own perspective that would lead? Because I know there are people who are of the school of thought that there are a lot of people, there are over 7 billion people in this world.
Yes.
Why exactly would you go for someone that you're in the same workplace in? What do you think?
I think first is the issue of proximity. It makes the work a lot easier. You understand? Because you're interacting with this person on a daily basis, you see them. And then there's also the element of intellectual stimulation. You understand? Because for you to be able to connect with someone, you also have to be able to connect with them at the level of the intellect. The fact that you're working together also makes us connect intellectually. Then thirdly, you're in the same industry. Like now you're a creative. You come here, you find creatives like you. It's easier to connect because you're thinking, we think alike. We're in the same world. We talk the same things. Mkiongea juu ya lighting na makeup na nini, wanakuelewa. You're getting, so it just makes the dynamic a lot easier than you going to have to explain to an accountant somewhere, seated somewhere.
That doesn't understand.
That doesn't understand what it is to come and be in the broadcast industry and stuff like that. So I think it just makes it a lot easier. The connection is a lot easier because you're coming from the same world.
Of course, and
Yes.
to ask, because with office romance comes a lot of things. There are a lot of implications,
Yes.
especially for a situation where your company or the organization has strict policies that office romance is not allowed.
Yes.
And let's say you've just seen this person that unaona yenyewe tuna click, there's chemistry and everything. What are you supposed to do in that situation?
I've had friends who are caught up in a situation like that. One of them actually opted out, resigned. The man resigned, and the relationship went on, and they're now married. Yeah.
And is that like the only way out?
I guess, you see, when the organization is very, very clear, we do not allow this. They also have their reasons. I think it then becomes a matter of integrity for you to say, look,
Yeah.
we're in this situation, and we probably think that there's something beyond just a fling for us, and therefore we are willing to pay the price to make this work. It's good for us to say, for the sake of integrity, hey, let me just go out and then allow you to grow your career because you probably have higher chances in this organization as I look out.
All right.
Yeah.
And
I like the way she was saying, because like that example she was saying, this person had to resign, so before even you think of indulging into this office setup, number one question you need to be asking yourself, are you even ready to lose your job for the sake of this relationship? Because the way she was saying, it is work, it is sacrifice. So are you really willing? Are you really willing to for the sake of this relationship to work? So by the time you think of, let me indulge into an office romance. So those are that is some of the key things you need to also to consider.
all right, we've looked at companies or offices that do have policies and strict rules that do not allow for office romance. And clearly, when you sign your contract, you're told that we don't allow this, it will affect your work ethic and everything. But in a company where they're a bit more liberal, they're like, we actually don't mind and we'd give you that opportunity. Do you think that it would still work?
Yeah, it depends. It depends the way you're saying the organization and the two personalities in question. So what are the long-term solution, or what is the long-term goal you are looking? Because why should you sacrifice your job on a short-term relationship? So you need to have some projections, because at the end of the day, this relationship can come and go. But what will remain is your vision, what will remain is your purpose. So the purpose, once the purpose is so clear that at the end of this duration, I want to date for this time and even lead to marriage. So you have to have those things clear from the word go, so that whenever you make a decision, that decision will be pegged on the clear goal you have.
You've stated the perspective of time duration, knowing how long you want to stay with this person, how long you want it to last. Do you actually think, and I want to get both your views, do you think that work or office romances may actually last? Because I was looking at a survey and it was saying that 60% of the time you find that they just don't last. Mna inakuanga tu just a fling, just a wave of the moment, na
Yes.
it'll die down.
Yes.
What do you think?
I think now that's a place, especially for ladies, to be able to interrogate before you get into a situation like that. Because you see, most times you're just probably looking at the person, there's this chemistry going on, you're probably in the same industry, but the chemistry is not equal to you being compatible. So it has to go beyond that, that you now begin to think, what is it that I carry even into this relationship as a person? Do I know myself well enough? What do I think this other person is bringing into this relationship? Do I think he has what it takes for me to stick as I get into this relationship? Because you should see, most of the time, especially when you're much younger, you're probably just looking at the physical features of this person. You're probably just looking at probably his position and you're thinking, he's looking like he's making it, but you haven't actually interrogated and internalized what is going to be the implication for you as an individual. Because many times, even as coaches, we are finding ourselves in situations where we are actually having to deal with a lady who is going through a breakup in an office scenario. And it's hard because what do you tell them? They have to go and face that guy every day. And you see, for the man, it's different because he's putting this thing in a file. The file was kept away, my friend. So the file was kept away. He moved on. Everything of yours is there. So you're seeing the dude, you're thinking, holy.
Kwani una feelings?
Hauna feelings. I mean, niliisha tu hivyo. Story yangu ilisha tu hivyo na uka move on, you know. For the guy, just moved on. So it's important for you as the lady to just begin to think, and first and foremost, what are you bringing onto the table? Is this person, does he have the value system enough to be able to carry? Because again, you must interrogate. It could go either way. It can work, it may not work. If it doesn't work, does he look like he has integrity enough to be able to protect you?
Yeah.
Because there's someone who's going to go there and say everything that you probably did out there. You get? So now that's the other thing. You have to look at it holistically. So it's not just the loud guy in the office that you know who has no decorum, he has no regard for your privacy, he has no, you have to think about it, because at the end of the day, whether it works or not, you have to be able to walk with your head held high.
Of course, and when it comes to office romances, we brought about different aspects.
Yes.
It could work, it could not
Yes.
work. So in the case that you happen to be caught up in an office romance, you
Yes.
happen to fall for someone who maybe is within the same workplace as you are.
Yes.
What are some of the implications that it might have on your job, on your conduct, and overall work ethic?
I think one of the things, like I said, it will definitely affect probably even the way other people relate with you. You have to be ready for the fact that there are other ladies within that organization who probably also thought, you know what, I had a good chance, but here you are. So those are the things that come with the territory. You understand? Then there's also the other thing of office politics happen.
Sure.
So your politics will affect my politics. So I have to be willing to say that I'm going to have to fight battle for two as long as we are here in this context.
Uko timu yangu.
Uko timu yangu, you know, and this guy also has to be very loyal to you, that even you, when the heat is on you, he has to fight for you. So that's a thing that you have to agree. Then you have to agree on you guys also have to agree, should this relationship not work? How are we going to deal with it? That's a dynamic that you have to look at. Then you also have to talk about the fact that while we are here, please remember, our relationship starts at 5 o'clock when we walk out the door. You know, those things, public display of affection while you're in the office is a no. Don't make life difficult for other people simply because you think you're an item. No. You understand? So then the niceties and the name calling and all that, while you're in the office, please, retain, it is your office title. You stop being babe and all those other things. You are just who you are. You are the accountant, you are the broadcaster, you're the producer, you're whatever. You have to remember that the relationship picks up after you walk out of the office. Because I think that's the gray area, or the thin line that many people are unable to navigate.
All right. And for Alan, what do you think are some of the implications of having workplace romance? I'm sure I could see the position, yani right? Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to tell you because you all need to be addressed. So address us. What do you think are some of the implications or some of the especially negative implications that having an office romance or being involved romantically with someone you're working with, a colleague, would have on your work performance and everything in general?
Like, first of all, you look at it on the negative side of relationship in the office is you'll find most of the people in that office setup, it was a situationship in the first place.
Why would you say that?
Because you've just seen this person, and at first, you know, that is why I always say there is love. Love is never like the way people say it was love at first sight, never. You were just attracted to this person. So in the first place, most of these relationships in the office, they're not relationships, they're just situationships. Ni situation imetufanya. And especially what's enough in Kenya is tanga meant. So the thing is, you realize whereby at that particular point, you will be tolerated. You'll just be tolerated because there is something I'm gaining out of this. And I always tell ladies out here, for us men, if we just spot you this way, we just know how long this relationship will take. They won't just walk up from nowhere and they will tell you that they are breaking up with you. It means the first day they had just an agenda. So to save yourself from heartbreaks, you need to ask them intelligent questions, like what is the long-term solution or what is the long-term goal we are having in this setup. Because number one, you are putting your work at risk. There are a lot of things you'll find revealing to this person. Because once you're in love, you tend to sometimes to get blinded by a few things. You cannot think professionally, you know, by that time, you know, you just pick out things, what have you. Supposing you are an accountant, you go there and spill things to somebody who you think you are going to spend the better part of your life with. So also there is an aspect of privacy, the way she was saying, whereby your privacy can be compromised. Then a lot of gossip. At a point whereby, you know, when people will think that you are gossiping them. The moment they see you together with these people, they will feel insecure. Then also there is this aspect whereby people think to some extent you are being favored. Supposing like as a lady you're being dated by the CEO of the place. So they will think that every decision you make or every move you make, it was inspired by the CEO or the boss at that place. So you need to reach to that point whereby you have to check along those kind of things. Yeah, then obviously time wastage. Because all your life depends on that time aspect, that time that you are having. So instead of you working, you'll realize you'll be spending some time doing things that they are not office related. So you realize that you are wasting time and McHugh, all your aspect of life depends on the time aspect you are putting in place. And there is one thing that really affects your holistic being is your relationships. So supposing like this person, you had an argument yesterday, you come to the office, like you can't concentrate. Supposing you break up with this person, how will you view this person? So those are some of the implications you need to always check.
All right, and he's spoken about the aspect of you can have a lot of distraction and a lot of time wastage. What do you think about that perspective? Does having an office romance automatically relate to you being totally distracted with your work and overall loss of productivity at work?
Okay, I think relationships, for ladies, if something is going on in the relationship, you don't think clearly. Whether it's in the relationship, in the office, at home, wherever. I mean, wherever. Because we are emotional beings, it will affect you. Of course, there'll be additional pressure because this person is here. Hence the need for you to actually even interrogate that possibility with that guy as you're getting into it. He has to be mature about it. You have to agree that we have domains. Those domains, we leave them at home. When we are at work, it's a whole different scenario. I have to pay my bills, you have your bills to pay. And by there, that's a conversation that people should have. Forget even if you're having office relationship, with whatever kind of relationship. There'll be time that you have to make a public appearance. That means that whatever it is that you guys have anywhere else, it has to be shelved for the sake of we are looking good. So now you have to have that sort of, the pressure is of course additional, and that's something that we must talk about, even as we tell people about the pros and the cons of office relationships. It's true. there's going to be pressure. It's additional pressure. Can you take it? Interrogate it before you go in. Yes.
And I know we've spoken about the internal implications that it might have on you and the person you're involved with romantically, be it your colleague or whoever you're working with. What implications does it have on your external environment, now your colleagues? Does it affect them in any way? What do you think about that?
Yeah, to some extent it will affect them because let's say you work as a team. Supposing you are affected in this relationship, so you look at your productivity out here, you won't be performing so much because other people will be going 100 steps and you'll be pulling them 200 steps backwards. So you realize these people, they have to come backwards trying to pull you so that you can be at par with them. So you realize it will affect other people. Then to some extent also you will find yourself withdrawing from your colleagues. You have this special person. Most of the time you consult. Most of the time you do things together.
Yeah. What do you think about that, Judy?
About how it affects the other people.
How it affects other people who are maybe, like as he stated, working closely with you, or people who, in a perspective where, let's say, you and your boss are involved romantically, how does it affect everybody else?
Okay, for you and your boss, honestly speaking, is actually a very gray area because it happens, again, it happens because of the intellectual stimulation. It happens when people are much younger because of lack of knowledge. But honestly speaking, I think that is the hardest relationship because if something goes wrong, especially usually if it's a boss, the boss is a man. He'll file you away very fast and move on with his life. So, for ladies, I think I'll just try and say as much as you can. If it's a senior person within an organization, try and keep away. It's gonna mess you up, especially if this thing doesn't work. But then if probably maybe it's a peer, and you find yourself in that situation, it's important not to, this babe thing that people you carry over into the office, he's not your babe in the office.
But no, you just want him to call you babe everywhere.
No, now you see, that's a problem. that's a problem right there.
Girls usually.
Yes, that's a problem because you have to have ethics. When you come to the office, we have to have an ethical relationship. It becomes professional once you check into the gate. Then you realize that babe stopped right there. He becomes Mr. So-and-so, Mr. Alan Lawrence. Babe stopped at the gate, and we can pick it up from there so that you don't make it difficult for other people. Like I said, this is a monster that we might have to contend with. So it's important for us to tell people that should you find yourself in that situation, then understand that he's not your boyfriend at the point that he is working. And she's not your girlfriend at the point that she is working. She is an employee. And she has to make it work for her and the organization. You owe it to the organization to be able to deliver.
And you wanted to add something?
Yeah, the way she's just saying, at that particular point, do not let yourself be run by emotions. Run to some extent, not like to control your emotions. Because at that level, you are not, if you are working at that level, you are not a kid anymore. There is a way you control your love life. So you have to have that control over your emotions. And also, there is an aspect of communication. The way she's just saying, communication and understanding. For this relationship even to be outstanding, there is that aspect where we communicate, understand each other, so that we know that in this environment we are putting our work at risk. And at the end of the day, this relationship can come and go. It's not permanent. But what will remain is you working out your goal, your vision, and what have you. So communication in that aspect, whenever that thing pops up, you just have to communicate.
All right, and there's some people who are pretty private about how they handle their relationships. So does you keeping it on a low, keeping a low profile, especially at work, actually help? Or will it just blow up eventually?
I think keeping it in a low is actually the best way to go about it. It's actually the best way to go about it because it places less pressure on you, and then it helps you to actually start the relationship at the gate and stop it at the gate as you come in and pick it up as you drive out or walk out or whatever. I think that's a better way to go.
People just need to keep it private till you are just assured, because today, as is like assuming your boss, you are dating your boss, so you've introduced them out here. Supposing you guys break up, So again, what will you be telling us? And again, maybe another person is eyeing you there, or even let's say you appear at the place of work, you break up with this person, and the entire organization knows, and you go for the boss. So exactly how will we view how will we view you? I know it's a challenge for ladies because nyinyi hamtaki kutumiwa kama bangi kisiri siri, whereby you just want to come out there and say that I'm dating. So but also that point you need to check on the dynamics. There are some people who they enjoy their privacy. Privacy is key.
And let's say now you're the one in charge of the organization. You're not involved romantically with any of your colleagues. You're just in a situation where you found your workers or people working for you now being involved romantically. Now I find some person X and person Y who are working for me in my organization who are maybe the most productive employees I have. But whatever relationship they have is affecting their work and productivity at a very high rate. How am I supposed to deal with that? Is it safe to just maybe fire one and leave one? And at the end of the day, it will still affect them at work? Or do I just keep up policies that ensure that I just don't allow it from the get-go? Judy?
I think especially for smaller organizations, it can be a very, very gray area. But when in a small organization, then you can take the position of counselor, coach, mentor, and actually guide them so that then they're able to carry that relationship successfully and still be productive. Successfully is either one, take it to the end, or should there be a breakdown, also guide them on how to help them to navigate, because really this is life. I mean, we all live in a society. We cannot, it's not always black and white, but as gray as it gets, then we can also help people and tell them, you know what, this is what you've gotten yourselves in. These are the pros and cons. Help them to understand. But even as you help them to understand the pros and the cons, look like, you know what, there are times that you guys will fight. Make sure when you fight, you don't affect your work. Because relationships, those are the dynamics of relationship, and we have to come and say it. So that, and then again, you know what, this thing might work. I'll be happy for you if it works. But should it not work, please make sure that you are able to respect one another's dignity, that you're able to exit honorably, and that both of you are able to walk with your head held high. That's a conversation that a good employer should be able to have with their people, because relationships are really not a guarantee that you'll make it to the end. But again, you should make sure both parties have a responsibility to make sure that by the time I leave you, you're a better person.
And is it safest for the organization to just put it on the get-go that we have policies that don't allow for us to have office romance, or people who are working together don't involve themselves romantically with each other? Is it always the safest option, or what do you think about it?
You know, when organizations take that route, they take it because they need to indemnify themselves from sexual harassment. You understand, from, you know, the allegations of sexual harassment in the office, because then that means that the company can be sued. So then they put it on paper to actually to protect themselves. But really in a situation where you put men and women together from 8 to 5 every day for a year, 2 years, 3 years, it just means, and sometimes people are working long hours. Chances are very high that 1 or 2 people are going to get romantically attracted to one another. So therefore, then those are that becomes the responsibility of the 2 employees to navigate the situation. Either one declare to HR and say that this thing is happening. But then again, even as we talk about it, it's important for us to also look at the situation where there's actually sexual harassment that happens to ladies, and they're not even aware, probably when you're very young and you don't understand that this is actually sexual harassment. You're thinking you're having a relationship. You understand? So it's important for even ladies to also understand that where you feel you are being drawn into a relationship that one is not right, you don't believe in, then there's a call for you to actually go to HR and report. And organizations that have very clear policies like that are actually easier for you to navigate. Yes.
Okay, right about now we have a few comments from our WhatsApp number, and I want to sample out just 3, and then we delve into the conversation of now the aspect of sexual harassment, which obviously more often than not comes about when shaachana na mtu alafu there's a bit of bitterness. So I want to use that to peg it on you and everything, and how it obviously affects the whole work environment. But right about now, in case you want to send in your views, make sure you do so pretty soon, because we do have a lot of interaction on our social media platforms. And to send in yours, please make sure that you interact with us. Official hashtag is hashtag NewDayKE. So we find your tweets at the most top part of all the tweets, and our social media platforms are Ebru TV Kenya on Instagram and on Twitter, on Facebook at Ebru TV KE, short SMS line 40920. Alternatively, we have a WhatsApp number where I can see Team Paragraphs is not letting me down. 0777672230 is the number. Or alternatively, I want you to give me a call. I want to hear your beautiful voices. I want you to tell me about this whole aspect of office romance. What do you think about it? Will it work? Will it not work? What are the pros? What are the cons? And what is the overall implication of having an office romance? So right about now, let me sample out just 3 comments real quick. They call me the rapper, so let's see how we're gonna take it. All right, I can see there's someone who says, office romance is inevitable. What matters is how the 2 individuals sustain it. It can turn out to be the best relationship if handled the right way, because 2 people can help build each other holistically rather. It can turn out to be the worst nightmare if handled the wrong way. Alafu akaeka pale in caps, bolded, everything. And B, no one knows how they will meet their spouse. So let us keep an open mind, and let's work on personal development, that is in brackets emotional intelligence, which leads to healthy relationships everywhere. What is your immediate response to that particular conversation? The person says it's inevitable.
That's true. Like I said, because by the way, in Nairobi especially, people are not even greeting each other. You don't know your neighbor. you get. So what are the chances? You can't meet someone in the shopping mall. It's even crazier. So when you come to Ebru TV, open your eyes. No, but anyway, seriously. Yeah. I mean, like she's saying, it's inevitable. These things will happen. We can't stop them. But what we need to say is, like she said, you need emotional intelligence.
I'm sorry to cut you short a bit. We have a caller from Nyeri. Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, I can't be able to hear you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. What's your beautiful name?
Tembe.
Okay, talk to me.
I wanted to tell you about the romance office. Yeah, it may work and it might not work according to both parties. Yeah, so as long as both parties are focused, the relationship can work. Yeah, but you also have to read the signs.
Pardon?
You have to read the signs once you get to start the relation. Yeah, so it is a 50-50 situation.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, for him, he says it can work. It cannot work, yes, depending on the situation. Parties, yes. Okay, back to what you were saying and picking up on the reaction on this particular phone call.
I think what she's saying is actually what we have been saying is that it's inevitable, because our society is clear. We are becoming more closed as we go by. It's not those days when probably you'd meet someone in the estate. The chances of meeting someone in the estate are becoming slimmer. You don't go home anymore. So what are the chances you're going to meet someone from, wherever you came from? So the dynamics have changed, and the social dynamics then maybe now present the office as the place where, the pool where people now interact for longer. I see you at your best, like he was saying. I see you at your worst. I see you at your creative best. And because I'm a creative like you, it makes my juices flow. Then I begin to think, yeah, maybe this thing can work. But then it's important for us to also think, the fact that we have chemistry, does it mean that necessarily we are compatible? And that brings out the element of you understanding yourself and your core values, and then you interrogate my core values, and then what do I have to bring on the table? Once we have that in check, which means it will we're not heading into a relationship because you checked into the studio, you're told dark and handsome. There has to be more that I'm asking for. You understand? So those are the conversations that we must have, and they'll only come from the place of us understanding what are our core values. And I keep saying, especially for ladies, it's an important conversation for us to have, because we really unravel when a relationship fails. And so it becomes worse when you're in the organization, seeing the person every day. It's a pain, and this guy moved on. and he's not doing anything about it, you understand? So it's something that we must interrogate, and including to having a discussion with this person. And that's why I like the conversation where this person talked about emotional intelligence. Yeah, because now that it means that then it will demand a lot more from us in terms of how are we going to navigate the downside, even when we have a conflict. Forget a breakup. But how do we navigate when we have a conflict such that the conflict then doesn't affect my productivity, and it doesn't affect the team's productivity, and it doesn't affect the company. That's something that we must be able to make sure that is in check. Yeah.
The man in yellow. Looking brighter than the day itself.
Oh, yeah, sure. Thank you. The thing is, the way she was just saying, you know, the true pleasure and the pains of life, they're always experienced in the context of relationships. So it means that you need to check the maturity level of this person, not just their bank account, not about what they own, because all those kind of things they might go. So do not be a fan of this person. Know them as an individual. Relate with them at a personal level. So there comes an aspect of maturity. How are you ready to handle this relationship? Because a relationship, remember, as we earlier on said, everything of yours revolves around it. A relationship actually is just like a ship. It needs to navigate you from one point to the other, because this person is the person who needs to be real with you. This person is the person who will tell you everything and anything in a good way. So in that setup, are you able to handle the pressure that comes with the relationships? Are you mature enough to handle the pressures? Are you mature enough to guide this person? Because remember, you need to date a person who will be able to challenge you. See you in the next like 5 years now. So you need to have that person who is even secure enough as a woman, ready to let you shine. And are you ready to support this person in their work? So those are some of the things, as far as I know, needs to be checked.
All right, let's check out a few more comments as we respond, or as I rather get your immediate reaction from the comments. So we have Paul, Ametumia Pale, hashtag thank you so much, hashtag New Day, should the relationship be open in that the rest of your workplace colleagues know that both of you are in one? And also, what about a breakup or a small separation? What happens in terms of working in the office? Starting with the first question, is it advisable for it to be a private relationship or a public relationship where all your colleagues know that this person and this person
they are an item? Again, it depends on the personalities of the people. The more you keep it private, I think the better, because then now you're able to have a very distinct line between your personal and your professional life. But in a situation where you have decided to be open about it, it still does not exempt you from the rule that you are leading your professional life here. Your personal life starts at home or at the gate or at the coffee shop, wherever you decide you're meeting. It's very, very important for people, because I think a lot of the challenges come when you want to call this guy babe in the office, you want to hold them in the office. No. Just understand that you are not going to interfere with everyone else's work environment. As long as you're there. This was only a meeting point. It's not a dating site. Yeah, just be very clear about that. And once you're clear about that, and I think even HR and everyone else around you should be able to keep you in check, so that now, in as much as it's open, you are professional when you get here, and you're professional about the way you handle one another. You understand? Because she was a professional when you met them. Keep that image for them.
All right, so we've had the aspect of now, we've talked about the whole relationship, what is right, what is wrong, but in the case that you are in a breakup situation, you and your office babe mume break up, like imeisha tu mmekafunga kabisa. So how are you supposed to deal with that particular situation? There are people who deal with things differently, either be it in the office situation or even in a normal breakup. There are people who are way too emotional and take it way too far and can be able to deal with such situations. So now in an office setting where, number one, it's as hard as it is, and now you've broken up, I have to see this guy every single day, and this guy broke up with me in the worst way possible. How do I deal with that, Alan?
Just be like an ambulance, lia lakini usonge mbele. So whereby, you know.
Where? Ni sawa.
But
it is fine.
More importantly, take time to heal. Do not suppress your emotions. take some time to heal, whereby let's just go through that grieving moment after some time. Do not try to get into the next relationship when you are hurting. Remember, once you've not healed from this relationship, even it will affect the other relationship, because you will keep bleeding on this person, and this person didn't hurt you.
Yeah.
So you just have to be real with yourself and know that yes, it didn't happen. So life must move on, because at the end of the day, this relationship, whether it was whether it went bad or whatever, there is something you learned out of it.
Yeah.
So there is no losses in this life. You only have lessons. So there is a lesson you picked. Maybe there is something that you really need for the next level. So you just need to be positive about it, and you know, and that calls for the level of maturity, whereby yes, we are breaking up, yes, then life must continue. We have a life to live. We have bills to pay.
Yeah, and maybe someone would ask themselves, you're a lady, and I like speaking from the lady's perspective, because I am a woman and I understand what women go through much better. So for me, I'm like, okay, I see this person every single day. I have to interact with this person every single day. Am I supposed to avoid him? How am I supposed to interact with him? Am I supposed to still talk to him? There's that sense of awkwardness.
Yes.
How can you talk about that, Judy?
I think, and that's a con for us women.
Yeah.
It's a con, because it's important for us to understand that's the downside of getting into an office romance. There's no one who's giving us a guarantee that it will work, but as women, because we are emotional beings, we will unravel, especially when it goes south.
Yeah.
So it's an important thing for us to consider as we consider even going into that relationship. Just think, worst case scenario, this thing doesn't work. I have to be able to take what will come with it. It's gonna be crazy on me. But again, now should it happen, my friend, hey, it's thick. It's gonna be very thick for you, because the guy will move on, and then again, society will kind of judge a woman more harshly. Kwani hukujua ulikuwa unafikiri atakuoa? You know, are you getting it? Those are the things that come up with that. That's the kind of conversation. Kwani, do you think he's going to marry you? Didn't you see? You are not even compatible. Those are, you know, it's true. Those are the things that hit you when you go through a breakup. The whole society apparently are counselors. They knew that you are not they knew that you are not compatible and all that. So that's gonna come. That's the pressure that's gonna come with it, and you have to be able to handle it. Now, that calls for the emotional intelligence that guy was talking about. That now when the situation is not all that, somehow be able to hold it together and still be able to be productive one way or the other. You have to be able to focus. And sometimes, by the way, it's not all bad, because have you ever been in a situation where you've been in a tough situation, maybe even emotionally, but if you're able to project all that emotion to your work, my friend, you give an A game. So that's the upside of it. You can actually turn it around and use it for your good. The emotional energy, the emotional whatever can actually be you use it, you convert it the other way, and actually be able to come out on the other side and be a better person. Yeah. And then that calls for the conversation that you had with this guy in the first place. Remember, whatever we did in private remains in private. The conversation that we had there, pray that this person actually will be able to hold his part of the bargain, so that you're able to walk out with your head held high. Because yes, relationships come, they go, but then again, you should be able to walk out with your head held high, whichever way it goes. Even if by bad luck or by bad, whatever coincidence, it turns out that this person didn't have integrity, you be the one with the bigger person who will hold yourself with integrity, who will not be able to go out and say any bad thing about them, and just move on and start a fresh chapter, hopefully having learned your lessons.
All right, and others? Okay.
Just 1 minute, like the way Judy was saying, there is no one will ever just wake up and just breaks up with you. There's some red flags, but the problem with majority of the people in the relationship, they confuse the red roses with the red flags. They are not able to see. If a guy wants to break up with you, believe me, there are some signs. It does not just happen. But because you didn't master this person from the word go, you didn't see the way they react, all those kind of things, because you are blinded by the so-called love. So you have to check, like there are some exit plans. It's so evident, however much this person can fake it. The only problem you realize, this person, like let's say they wake up today and they tell you that would do away with this.
Yeah.
They began it like 6 months ago, some time back.
And what if the relationship was just existence for 6 months?
From the word go. That is why for
Guys.
us guys, everyone, you ask every guy, they will tell you, the first moment they saw you this way, they know the direction this relationship will go. Yeah.
And what about the person who ends up being bitter? In a relationship, kuna mwenye ameachwa na kuna mwenye ameachana. So now, in the case that we si mwenye umeacha mtu, somebody has left you and it's affected you mentally, it's affected you in so many ways, and you start questioning yourself because as a person, you'll question so many things. Did this person actually love me? Was he just using me or nini? Those are the things that go into girls' minds, especially during a breakup. And some people, unfortunately, take it too far. And now the aspect of sexual harassment comes into being. Let's say we've kept our relationship pretty low-key, and now umeniacha, and now I just can't deal with it. I can't see you on a daily basis, and then now, oh, I've been sexually harassed. Let's say this person starts saying they were coerced into the relationship, and it blows up into something else. How can you deal with that particular situation?
I think first let's talk about it from an organizational point of view. Now you understand where organizations are coming up with those laws. Yeah? And if an organization has any more than 20 people, even if come up with a document that actually indemnifies the company from that kind of situation, so that even as individuals, when they check in, they actually know that we don't encourage it, but should you find you're on your own.
Yeah.
Then now, you were asking if I find myself, I'm the person who has been left.
Yeah.
I guess you just have to accept. Turn the table around. You're like, okay, fine. By the way, even me, I didn't think you were so hot.
Oh, God.
I didn't think you were so hot. You just come up with something anyway.
To make yourself feel better.
Make yourself feel better. But actually, the most important thing, especially from a woman's perspective, because it's the women who are left thinking, I wasn't beautiful enough, I should have done better. That's why it's important for us to have a conversation with ourselves first before we even get into any relationship. Forget even that office romance one, which is more high risk. But it's important for you to interrogate your own value as a person. It's important for you to interrogate what you know you carry into a relationship so that by the time you're even sitting with that person across the table, you already know your value.
Yeah.
Should he leave, he doesn't carry the value with you, with him. You remain intact, then, well, let's wait for the right person to come because you didn't fit the bill. You understand? So it's a more empowering position to take than if, for example, you just bumped into tall, dark, handsome, and then you don't even know what hit you. You get? So it's important for us to think about our own individuality, to think about the values that we carry, that when we find ourselves in these situations, even office romance situations, you are not a victim. You're operating it from the place of, I made an informed decision. It's a high-risk decision, but I'm willing to take the risks.
All right. What do you think about it?
You have to love yourself more, have a relationship with yourself more. Because if you eat on people's validation, believe me, you people are fickle. You will die at their criticism. Because if your validation was solely on this person, once they come out of the picture, believe me, you'll be affected. So before even you think of dating another person, not only in an office setup, have a relationship with yourself, so that at all given cost you have your confidence, and that's why people need to distinguish confidence and arrogance, whereby you are confident enough. You are confident enough. How many of us take even time to have a conversation with ourselves the way Judy was saying? You have to be Giamini, have that confidence. Whenever this person comes, they are just coming to compliment you. That is why today, even if you wake up today, you dress however much you dress, and you've not told yourself you're looking nice. No matter what people will be telling you out here, it doesn't matter. So the thing is, be comfortable in your own skin. People will come and change, but you yourself, you are the person who will live on this surface of the earth as long as you are there. So you be comfortable with yourself, mature yourself enough, and let not your validation be on people or not on things. have a relationship with yourself.
All right, and you've heard from Alan. He says that it has everything to do with yourself. How well you're confident with yourself will determine how you respond to situations. And right about now, because time is not on our side, I need to read out a few more comments. Let's respond to them and basically try to understand what people are saying. Moving on swiftly, I can see there's someone who says that is Mario from Nandi. The effects last because people marry from areas of duty. The frequency of meeting same person regularly. Okay, people vary. I think people vary. Okay, from areas of duty, the frequency of meeting same person regularly. Someone not having time for exposure to the rest of the world. Even a professor closer to a boda boda will eventually get married to him. Staying together allows the deeper understanding leading to a permanent romance. I hope you heard. We'll be responding to that. Baga America, the nearer the born, sweetie. Sawa, it's fine. Quick response to that, because according to Mario, she says that, you know what, the nearer you are to something, it will eventually lead you into developing feelings. And used a very funny analogy of, ata professor kika karibu na msewa nduthi, kika karibu na msewa boda boda, will obviously get attracted and end up marrying that person. Very quick.
I agree. It's about exposure, and that's why we have to talk about office romance, because right now there's no room for socialization. We all come, meet in the office, 8 hours, sometimes you're working 10 hours, 16 hours, whatever. That is the problem. Yeah. And so the main thing that we probably also have to do, even as we tell people, look, it's a high-risk thing, you're getting into it, just know that it's going, the cons are higher. But then even as you do it, then we must also tell people, how do you navigate of an office romance so that whichever way it goes, you still come out almost unscathed. Or if you have to celebrate at the wedding, we'll be glad to come and eat pilau. So it's an important conversation to have, so that then we're not completely saying it's a no-no. Of course, we know it's high risk. We, especially for ladies, it's a tougher thing to do. But should it work, we'll be happy for you. Yeah.
Alan?
Office romance to me, I think is just like a warranty. You know, today you get people buying things, they are not even ready to read about what they are signing up for. The only person who reads that warranty is the person, the manufacturer. So it means that you need to be aware of what am I really signing up for. So you need to check on those kind of dynamics. Yes, you can be close with this person, but do your characters merge? Is this person secure enough to let you shine? Because at the end of the day, you didn't come here on earth just to relate with people, pay bills and die. There is a higher thing you need to accomplish. Is this person helping you? Yes. Now we can be able to sit down and have all those kind of things. If this person is not helping you, drop it like it's hot without apologies.
Where? Sawa. Drop it like it's hot.
Without apologies. Umesikia, he's a man. Without apologies. File ilifungwa na he moved on. Are you seeing?
Coming into perspective and reality right here. And just to basically wrap up, our question of the day was, is it okay to have an office affair? We've spoken about the pros, the cons, everything we could basically exhaust with regard to office romance. What you're signing up for, are you prepared to deal with all the implications? But from a professional setting, considering that this is a workplace, considering that this is what pays your bills at the end of the day, and you have your relationship and your personal life on the side, is it okay, because we need to answer the question, of course, is it okay to have a work affair?
Okay. I'll say, it's a difficult choice to make. If you decide to take that route, please also be willing to understand there'll be a high price to pay, whether it works or not. To navigate and differentiate personal and and professional within that space is going to demand a lot of maturity, a lot of emotional intelligence. Understand what you're getting yourself into. Should it lead to tears, be willing to wipe the tears. Should it not lead to tears, but somehow you make it, but just know, either way, you'll have to navigate that on a daily basis. And that's a price that all of us must be aware of as we take that route. Yes.
All right. Alan, what do you think? Is it okay to have a work affair? Okay, where from the beginning we shall say do not at all costs stay as far as away from possible without apologies.
Without apologies. Drop it like it's hot.
Basically, to speak to the person back at home or back at their workplace who's listening and was thinking about it or was contemplating that particular situation, what do you have to say to them?
Choices have decisions. At the end of the day, whatever you are responsible for what you'll do with this kind of information. So as much as you get this kind of information, at the end of the day, you are going to make a decision. And remember, every decision you make is either it's affecting you or it's affecting you into your destiny. So if you think of indulging into this office romance, you have to check on those kind of dimensions. This thing, is it going to work or not going to work? And your peace is more important in every decision you make. Build a home, any place you feel you are at peace, go with it. But for me, office setup, kidogo.
I guess make
Yes.
5 kilometers away,
Yeah.
very far. But anyways, and now because we've spoken about the topic, we've exhausted every single aspect that we could talk about.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, there are people who still go for it because at
Yes.
the end of the day, to each their own. You
Yes.
can't control a person's feeling, and some do actually work. So for the people who actually indulge in an office romance and it works for them, what do you have to say to them in summary? Like to Mongelia, okay, it might not be advisable, check on the implications that it might have, try to reevaluate the whole situation. But right now, kimeumana, like tumeshaamua ni huyu na ni huyu na tushaangalia, exhaust every single thing that you guys are talking about. We know the implications. We've talked about the time duration. We know that this is in it for the long term. So I've decided that, okay, I'm not leaving that workplace. None of us is leaving. We are cohabiting together in that particular place. Whether we argue at night, tukikuja asubuhi ni sawa tu. So what advice do you have for them?
I think it will be important for you to separate your personal and professional life. And it's important for you to take into account your colleagues. Remember, they're not part of your personal life, meaning that when you check into the office, you are professionals. Carry yourself that way. And remember, at the end of the day, do not compromise your performance, do not compromise your boyfriend's or your partner's performance, and do not compromise the performance of the organization. Once all those things are in place and you're able to have a personal relationship that is flourishing, by all means, we wish you all the best.
All right, Alan, parting shots.
What
Yeah,
I'll-
wale ambao wameamua. I know what would take it to, like you do not agree. We don't want this thing. But to that person who has decided that, you know what, this is the person I want to spend the rest of my life with, what do I do?
What I will say is take time to study this person more and more, because sometimes people make grave mistakes by elevating people to their position that these people they do not qualify for. Or rather, you expect so much from this person. That's why people end up being frustrated. So take some time, study this person, understand how this person behaves under pressure. Do not be their fans. Just love them for who they are, not what they can offer.
Amazing, amazing. And of course, it has been a very fruitful discussion. We have laughed, we have smiled, we have, we've of course angered a few people. But before we leave, we need to take a look at some feedback that is, of course, coming back from our WhatsApp number. I can see there's Joseph from Odhaya. Anasema, hi to you as well, Joseph.
Hi.
I'm Joseph from Odhaya. I'm tuned in. Thank you so much. We do appreciate you, and we always appreciate your interaction. We appreciate every single thing that you have to say. We appreciate your calls. We want to hear you. And don't forget, pia kesho tutakuwa tuna calls live. So the number is 0115. Take your notebook, take it chap, andika pale hivyo ndo kesho usimisi. Yani tukiingia tu we tupiga tu, just call 0115-8897-9757. And you can of course text us via WhatsApp, which is 0777-672-230. Short SMS line 40920. Official hashtag is NewDayKE. Our social media platforms need the same hazitowai badilika, Ibru TV Kenya on Instagram and on Twitter. On Facebook at Ibru TV KE. We do have some more feedback. I can see that somebody else who says advice. Tuna advisiwa. Make a quick catch for that something good before one snatches from you. What? Cool bad, but ni sawa. It's okay. For this person, he or she thinks that is Regan Madara. Mwenye anasema, we shikilia before it escapes from you. Make that catch before somebody else catches it, regardless of where it is. You are catching that particular thing. I don't know about that, but that is your take. To each their own. And of course, Regan Madara says, I love the show and we love you right back. And as always, I send you kisses back at home. And there's somebody else who says, Okay, anataka suppress stress. I think that is all the comments. Those are all the comments basically that we had today. And I'm super, super, super extremely grateful for your interaction. Extremely grateful for all the time that you take to sit down and listen to the show, because we owe you. We owe you big time. We owe you a good show. We owe you conversations that actually matter. No, kuna watu wataki tuende. There's somebody else. This is an OG. Oh my God. Lay from Nakuru. We do appreciate you massively. Yani, I don't know if I should stand for you, but I'm sure y'all are not going to see me because I'm pretty short in real life. So Lay says, hello, New Day. Enjoying the show from Nakuru. Mwah, mwah. All the kisses that you could get. Thank you so much for always keeping it right here. And again, I'd like to thank both of you. Thank you so much, Judy. We appreciate your presence right here on this panel. You have been very engaging. Your style is on fleek. I hope we're always going to have you back on the show right here. We really appreciate that.
Anytime.
All right. And to Alan, an OG, uku, I should tell you karibu nyumbani kwa sababu uku ni nyumbani kwako. Always kutumaliza na the drip. We appreciate you, kabisa.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your wisdom. Thank you so much for always engaging with us on this panel. Tunako appreciate. No, mako na blush. Wow, I have a new accomplishment. But anyways, thank you so much for keeping it super engaging right here on New Day. It was Lifestyle Thursdays, and today we'd like to remind you that we are indeed mourning the loss of a great leader, mourning the loss of the late President John Pombe Magufuli, who unfortunately passed yesterday night at 6 p.m. in Tanzania. And we are passing our heartfelt and deepest condolences to the people of Tanzania, to his colleagues, to his family members, to his wife, to everybody close to him. And we hope that it shall pass and God will be with you. But right now we need to bid you guys goodbye. We'll be coming through with news in a couple of minutes as we tell you more on all things development in as far as Magufuli and his demise is concerned, in as far as the local and international and sports and news is concerned. So I want you to sit right and sit tight for that. Now we're going to your time sana lakini itabidi tu mumezoea, yes. So sit right and sit tight for that. We will be coming back tomorrow with yet another amazing show, another amazing conversation. So it's going to be fun, switched up, exciting, good music, good conversations, and always equipping you with all the information that you need. So msikose kesho, yani msini let's down. 11 a.m. is the time to be right here. But for now, again, my name is Aziza Hashim. I will be joining you tomorrow, same time, same place. Adios.
Ciao.